There you go. Here it is. Again. With this shit. Hello everyone. Welcome to Random as Poco. I'm the Russian guy. And today, well, you might have seen that I've been doing several live streams on Twitch. And I do them in Spanish because, well, most of the community is Spanish speaking. And you might have thought, well, he did some interesting stuff in those live streams. I wish I could understand the shit he said. So whenever I come to a conclusion or I have some useful information, I'll just do another video in English, just a standard for YouTube. However, don't be a stranger. Come by to the Twitch channel in case you see me streaming. If you have any questions, just want to look at it or whatever, hit up the chat in English, doesn't matter. I'll talk to you, no worries. But also, you have my Instagram, it's usually linked up in the video. You also have the Discord channel, which is also mostly Spanish speaking, of course. As of now, it's 100% Spanish speaking, but you can come there, you can see the stuff that's there, you can ask people in English. Most of the people there will be able to answer you in English, and if not, somebody can just quickly translate and whatever. I'm not there all the time, but there's almost every time there's someone in there, and most of these guys know much more than I do, specifically when it's all about guns, internals, whatever, and they can help you out real good. So just come by and say hi. Now, an interesting thing happened. Golden Eagle, which is Jingong, which is known as to be the shittiest airsoft manufacturer, but also one of the cheapest we have in the hobby, made GBBR AR15 rifles. Now, this has been happening for a while now, but we only found out about a month or a couple months ago when we started seeing them in Airsoft Entrepot, which is a shop in France. So for us, it's quite easy. For Spain, no import customs, nothing. I've bought there before. I've bought my VSS from LCT there because they usually have really good discounts from time to time, whether it's for Christmas, Black Friday, whatever, or just, clearance or whatnot. So it's a pretty big shop. They have lots of interesting things there. So if you're from the European Union, go and check them out. Of course, they don't pay me shit for doing that, but good shop. Now, my unit, even though originally came from Entrepot, was not bought by me by any way. This was bought by a guy from Madrid named G Custom. Well, that's not his real name, but he comes by the name of G Custom. He does some, of course, custom work on GBBRs, whether it's pistols, usually GHK long guns, and some MWS from Tokyo Marui. He does all that stuff. You can check his Instagram. And what he did was he bought one just to see how good or bad they were. By the time he uploaded a picture, I said, well, I want one of these. And he said, well, you know what? You can have mine because they're fucking shit and I don't want it. Just pay shipping and it's yours. And that's what I did. I paid €9 for shipping and here it is. So you need to know that I didn't pay any more than the shipping for the gun itself, which already will mean that my review will not be 100%, 100% legit, since it's not the same. It's a mental process. It's not the same as seeing minus €170 from your bank account than seeing €9 from your bank account. Even though you can think, well, this costs 170, this costs 170, this and that. But thing is, I didn't get one. I didn't buy one because I didn't want to buy one. I wanted to try one, but I didn't want to pay the price for it. Mainly because I have this little fella over here. And this is my MP9 from KSC or KWA or ASG, depending where you buy it. It's the same gun. Now, I had this for 3 years and it broke about 4 or 5 times, each time in a different place. Right now, it's not working properly. And I should get the part that I need to fix it in a couple of days. So you'll see a live stream about that. If the gun gives me stable FPS, I will make a video probably if I sort out the hop-up issue with the TNT plug-in full set of external barrel, hop-up chamber, hop-up rubber and internal barrel. Because, well, that's an expensive part, but it comes with a noob that's too strong for 0.2 or 0.25 BBs, which is the maximum weight that I intend to use with a submachine gun. And if everything works properly, at least for a couple of games, I will do a full review on it after 3 years, after all the things are broken, after all the malfunctions, everything. But I didn't want one of these for 3 reasons. First of all, if I wanted to experiment with GBBRs, I have the MP9. Second, if I wanted an AR15 GBBR, I go with the Tokyo Marui. Straight up. I mean, the Tokyo Marui MWS, it's a bit more. Well, it comes at the same price that the GHKs and other GBBRs with the WA system. Also, you have the VFCs, which are a modified version of the Western Arms, the WA, as I'll call it from now on, and they break. The MWS does not break. There's a Spanish community of MWS owners. They have around 100 people there, or even more. A new member every day almost. And some of these guys have used theirs for 3 years in every game, and it haven't even failed once. So what they were doing was, instead of putting the money on fixing the internals that break, which will happen with any other GBBR, they just went ahead and started building up upgrades for the internals to get even better results in gameplay, to be even a more effective gun to play with, and also to make their own and work with the externals. They have their Instagram, which is, I don't know what it is, I'll link it up down there, and you can just see that all the guns in there, except for a couple of them which are MTRs, all the guns in there have come up from the standard MWS and the CQBR Block 1, which is MWS with a shorter barrel, the 10M5 barrel, and each one of them made their own. There's no gun in there that's the same as the other guys. They've all done something. They're all trying stuff. So that's amazing. And it's kind of going to be a boom, because now you have a platform that you can use for games, but it's a GBBR, so it's cooler, and that kind of got everybody interested in. But not everybody can just go ahead and spend 700 euros on the gun and the magazines and start playing with it, which you can do, by the way. You can just spend those 700 and play. You don't need to do any downgrades. You don't need to change the barrel, the hop up, or nothing like that. Just buy the gun, buy the mags, buy the BBs, buy the gas, and play. Most of them even sold all their AEGs and just stick with the MWS, because they're that good. They're that reliable. They are proper primary gun GBBR AR15. And I didn't buy an AK. Also, if I wanted an AK, which I do, I'm waiting for the Tokyo Marui AKM, which I believe will come either late 2020 or early 2021. It's gonna cost some money, I believe around 650, without any magazines whatsoever, and the magazines will be from 50 to 60 euros, but I'm ready. I mean, well, I'm not ready because I don't have the money yet, but I'm saving up for that. So that's another reason why I didn't want to buy this, because if I want to buy a GBBR long gun, I'm going to wait for the AKM. And if by any reason the AKM just gets delayed until 2022 or something, or 2023, or they just scrap the project completely, I'll still get the MWS. But this is interesting, because this is Golden Eagle, this is Jin Gong, and whoever has been playing airsoft for the last 15, I guess, yeah, 15 years will be more than enough. He'll remember that back in the day, back in 2005, when I got started, you will only have 3 brands to get into airsoft straight away. Will be Classic Army, ICS, and Tokyo Marui, with the old gen guns with the standard AGs from Tokyo Marui. And that will be around 300 euros or more, from 300 to 450 euros, depending on the gun you get. And of course, those guns were great. You can play with them straight out of the box, especially with Tokyo Maruis. They're wonderful straight out of the box. Just open up and play. Great, very good accuracy, performance, range, but also low power. So for newer players, it's wonderful to just not be hurting everyone. You can run greatly on 0.2 grams, 0.25 also. You don't need to go all the way to 0.28. Also back in the day, everybody used 0.2. It was not just a big thing to get crazy meters out of the gun. There were not that many people playing. One of the reasons was that because the guns were so expensive and you had to go around 500 euros just to start playing. If you take the boots, the goggles, the gun, the magazines, the BBs, the gas, whatever. And then came along Jin Gong, D-Boys and SEMA, who were already making shitty cheap airsoft guns with plastic gearboxes that didn't shoot for shit. And they started copying the Tokyo Marui system, the gearboxes and whatnot. And that changed some things. I mean, it didn't change the hobby as a whole, but many new players could get into airsoft with those guns. And up to this day, I still recommend one SEMA gun, the CM045, and also the SEMA 040 and the 048, which are all AKs from them, which are of course newer versions that are like the top of the cheap tier, right? The low tier of airsoft guns, these are the best because they're made out of, I think that they're made out even out of steel, cheap steel, but steel. One of my best friends has the 0.5, the AK-74U from SEMA. We just had it downgraded out in the shop. It was bought from Gunfire in Poland, and as a €5 silicone rubber from Guarder. So yeah, cheap, easy, and it still runs, it still goes, and he's very happy with it. I mean, up to the point where he's got an E&L 74M Gen 2 with a couple mods in it. He has R-Hop and everything, but the SEMA is still, he still plays with it, he still likes it. So those are great beginner guns. But those Jin Gongs from 2008, they were the start from so many players in airsoft, and still are up to this day. You'll still see them as rental guns in your local field if it's a private field, and they do rent guns to new players, to those who don't have their own guns. And I think that's a very honorable mention that we can make for that brand. They're not the best, definitely not the best, but you know what I'm saying. And now, 12 years later, they make these. And I'm surprised, I'm kind of surprised. For 170 euros, which is around the same that an AEG will cost you without magazines or whatnot, this looks good. I mean, it's not excessively wobbly. You do have some wobble between lower and upper receiver. The handguard is, some have come, well, there are different versions, of course. This is the SMR 9.5, has the Geisley MK16, a copy of it. My unit, as you can see, is in gray color, but that's not because you can get it this way. That's because the guy who owned it before me, G Custom, as I said before, did a Cerakote treatment on it. Cerakote? How is it pronounced? Anyway, I don't know why he did it. I mean, maybe he ran some tests with it and the paint just got scratched, but this was originally black. Also, the stock, as you see, this is a crane stock. Chinese one I had lying around. Well, no, I had it fitted to my 416 from WFC. Took it off since I'm not using that gun much, and put it in here because the stock that comes standard with this is ugly as fuck. So I think straight away I just pulled it off. The A2 pistol grip is standard, and also you have some sweet little thingies in this gun as standard in this version in the SMRs, which is a copy of the Geisley charging handle, which is great because it's completely ambidextrous. I mean, you have a little springy here, and for left-hand users like myself, you don't have to go and pull the one that's on the left. You can pull the one that's on the right and just operate the whole bolt system like it was an AK, but just with the charging handle up in the back, going like this instead of going like this. So that's a good thing. Also, you have Ambi selector switch, and the one that's on the left side for your right-hand users is a bit different than the other one. It has this little thingy in a low profile, so that when you go for the mag release on the right side of the gun, it's not in the way. So that's cool for you. I'm not really big for the Ambi selector switch. I'm more into the mag release because the Ambi selector switch, I can still use my index, but yeah, if you can also use the thumb additionally, that's a good thing. I mean, sometimes I'll go one way, sometimes I'll go the other way, depending how I feel, depending, if it's windy or not. And also, yeah, the ambidextrous mag release, it is extremely hard on the left side of the gun, but you still have the right side of the gun, of course. So yeah, you can do that. What else can I say? So no wobbles whatsoever. I will be giving you some of the ideas that I have that I want to change to the gun, but that's more in the mid future, because what I want to do is see just how bad is it, not how good is it, how bad is it. I mean, I want to be negative with this gun because it's Jingong, Golden Eagle, Jingong, whatever. I mean, Jingong is just Golden Eagle in Chinese, so it's the same thing. It's just they rebranded themselves, so no mystery there. One of the things I find surprisingly bad is the fact that if these guns are new production, well, new copy, why didn't they copy the Z system from Tokyo Marui, which is much more reliable, however some say less realistic, and went with the Western Arms system instead? I would really have given it a bit more trust if it were copying the Tokyo Marui Z system instead of the Western Arms system. But yeah, it does copy the old one, which has proven to be less reliable. Nowadays you can find parts for both systems. You can find conversion kits for the MWS platform to use with either AG front ends or WA front ends. You have people adapting real steel parts to it. I mean, stocks are fine. I just tried a Fab Defense stock I had there. It works even better than the one for Chinese AG. As you can see, wobbles a lot. The other one does not wobble a little bit. Everything else, I mean, apart from this little wobble here, which, I mean, it's normal. That's just two pins holding it together. I don't expect a Chinese metal gun to be any less wobbly than this is. In fact, it surprises me how not wobbly it is. One of the things that me and the other guys that are testing it, of course the other guys before me, is that it does not come with a gas block and a gas tube. So if this was a real gun, if this was a real AR15, which is gas operated, it will be a bolt action AR15, because there's no gas mechanism. But of course, this is an airsoft replica. It works with direct blowback. You have your nozzle, you have the BB coming up the front, and you have a piston moving out the back. You have the buffer spring, and that's what brings everything together and working. The magazines are standard, your Stanag 30 round mags in a very black finish, not the gray finish you'll come to find in other guns. I've seen guys using the JHK mags, but the thing that happens with JHK mags in these guns, as I've been told, since I haven't tried anyone for myself, any unit for myself, is you have to put it in with the bolt locked back. Put it in and then release the bolt, or just do it manually, because otherwise what will happen is that the bolt will block the BB in some way. I mean, something happens with the difference in construction with the mags, and they won't work 100% properly. But most people have gone over it. Of course, the guns from the magazines from GHK are better with gas. The amount they hold, I think, is the same, but the way they release the gas is much better. And I think they have 65 BBs instead of 55, which is the amount that this one holds. And also you have Pmax, which, well, that's another option for you. But they cost 65 euros, from 65 to from 60 to 70 euros, even 75 some places. And these ones are 30 euros in Entrepot. However, they're out of stock, so yeah, we'll have to wait. So right now I don't have any spare magazines, and I don't plan to get any as of now, because as of now the gun cost me 9 euros. I paid for the shipping up to my house, 9 euros, and I got this. So until I see that I can get some trust into it, and I can say, well, I want to play with this gun today, and I want to bring it as my main gun for that day, but not the only gun, because this can fail, I'm not spending any money on it. So I'm gonna take it to the field, see how it shoots, see if it makes 20-25 meters. I already had, first thing, I took the stock off. I took the other stock. It already had the sling attached, so of course I took the sling. This is the V-Tac Sling, the original one, MK1, with no padding on it. Great sling, awesome sling, maybe a little bit expensive, but well, you know, sling is the most important attachment for the gun because it prevents the gun from falling and breaking itself. So yeah, that's a 70 euro sling, which you can get it cheaper, on a 170 euro toy gun. I think that's fair. I took the RMR I used on the Glock because I don't want to use it on the Glock anymore. I don't like it. So I took it off, break the mount in the process. So I put the standard rail mount that comes with it on this gun. Tried to zero it with, you know, I have a little shooting gallery down here, 12 meters. So it's not like I can do anything with it, but I just tried to see if the RMR from AliExpress for 24 euros, including shipping, could hold zero with the blowback mechanism working. And I shot a couple mags with it and it's fine, it's doing fine, so I'm going with it. I'm not putting any grips or anything on the handguard because, I mean, this is a Geissele M-Lock handguard, MK16, even though it's a short version. I'd rather have the larger version, but you know, it's free, man. So I'm going this way. Also, the sling, the way it's attached between the M-Lock slots itself, it works as a hand stop, so I could really get the hand there and have it locate. As you can see, where the palm ends, it's, if I go with a thumb over ball, I get into that last M-Lock slot there. Comes with flip up irons, and interestingly enough, if I flip up the sides with this RMR, I can see the side. I can see through the RMR because it sits lower. So that's a good thing. If I run out of battery, if it breaks or whatever, I don't have to take it off completely. I can just flip up the sides and shoot through a bit more, a bit higher. And I know it looks weird with just an RMR, no EOTech or not even a T1 with a high mount, but I don't have a T1 with a high mount, and as I said, I'm not spending money. I'm just getting things that I have lying around the house, trying to put this thing together. I even keeping the stickers on, just the made in China, the standard warning sticker. I'm keeping them on just for the lols. I mean, just for the fun of it. So everybody knows that I'm running a Golden Eagle and not anything proper. But some people are testing. I mean, we have around 10 or 20 units in Spain. We have a Discord chat just for it, a whole Discord server just for them. I've been talking to the guys earlier because I couldn't work my way around the speed loader to load the magazines. As you can see, this is a gas magazine, so no vertical tico speed loader. That's how we call it in Spanish, tico. I don't know why, but it's been like this for ages. And you don't have a spring that you can just lower like you wouldn't in a GBB pistol. So what you use is, and I got, this is from a cheap speed loader from Taiwan Gun, right? I think it's less than 5 euros. It will come with all of these adapters. So what I did was I asked them which one they use. They said this one's the one for pistols. It's the only one of them that has the little thingies, the little plastic thingies that allow it to stay in place with the speed loader itself. I don't know if you can see it, but it has these little lips out there, these little thingies here. Put them in that way. Well, that was interesting. And you put it that way, not more like that way, and it loads just fine. So that's what I keep it on a bigger bag so it won't get lost with all the BBs. Just throw it in there. If I want to load an AEG or just my pistol, I'll use the speed loader as it is. If I want to load the rifle, I'll use the accessory. It all stays closed inside the bag of BBs. I'm using, of course, 0.2 by G&G. I chronoed it with Ambi red gas and Ambi green gas. The Ambi green, it's not green gas, as you will see. That's the Ambi red. The Ambi green is the 144A gas or 134A gas. I don't remember which one of them is the one you can find these days because of contamination and all that shit. And the Ambi green will not cycle properly, and it was giving me 200 FPS. But of course we already have mid temperature, so in the summer it should be okay. And the Ambi red was giving me 320 FPS, even though my chrono usually gets the reading a bit higher. So I believe in the field I usually go to, the chrono will be around 2.9 up to 300 FPS, which is just perfect for the use I want to give it. I don't want any more power on it, even I would like less. But you can find valves, you can find all kinds of internal parts which you can tweak with to get the power output you really want. Also, you have different gas options. But as of now, with the gas I have home, the one that I use for the pistol, with the BBs I use for the other guns, with the red dot I have taken from the pistol because I don't want to use it, and the sling from a rifle I don't use that much. I already have something that I can take to the field and try out, at least just see if it gets me 25-30 meters on a range. That way I know that it will give me 20 meters in gameplay. For most of you, 20 meters in gameplay will be less to nothing, but the way I want to play with this gun when I do so, just like I do with the MP9, is running a lot, rushing a lot, with the benefit of the extremely quick trigger response that you get from GBBRs, because I mean it's instantaneous. The mechanical trigger, instead of the you press the button, the motor goes all the way back, the piston goes all the way back, then it goes free and hits the other thing, goes through the nozzle and all that shit. So the speed for that single shot with the GBBR is great, and I know this from the other gun, and it's a really good sensation, not just because of the blowback and this and that, but just because of the time it takes from the moment you see, well, I want to shoot this guy, when you put the dot on him and then you press the trigger and the BB comes out. That time is great. So I want to try that, just running and gunning, but not like spamming BBs, because you have 55 in there, and I also get like 48 in the other gun, and I usually use real caps on AEGs, so that's nothing new for me. But that's another thing, if you want to get into GBBRs, you must know that there's no such thing as high caps for GBBRs, at least not that I know of, and I hope there's no high caps for GBBRs. And the magazines are heavier. This one weighs half a kilogram, which is the same that a pint of beer weights, basically. So if you're running one on the gun and of course 3 on your plate carrier, you already have some weight on that front plate carrier. That will be the same as 1.5 liters of water, so you can run that in the back for perfect balance. You want to run one in the belt, so that's already, if you're running 4 extra magazines, that's 2 kilograms of extra weight on your gear. Every time you run, if you don't have a plate carrier properly adjusted, it will be jumping up and down. If it's not well built, it will break quicker than if you're just using lightweight AEG plastic magazines, which is what most people do. You will need to lubricate and clean the gun every now and then. For me, it's after every game. It's not that easy, it's not that hard from what I know, because well, it's still not worn in. I can't take the pin with just my finger yet, but you just take this pin, it will open up, you can take the charging handle and the bolt all together. So it's an easy process rather than disassembling this little fella here. A bit more complicated than a Glock, but less complicated than an MP9. So yeah, you can work through it. And if you're looking for a reliable platform for GBBR, this is not it. I mean, at least we cannot say that as of now, because we haven't tested it enough. And I say we because there's a whole community doing this stuff. Check out their Instagram, which is GBBR for TSOs, and you can learn more about it. You can talk to them, you can maybe get into the Discord group, this and that. Sounds good though. If you want a gun that you can take out sometimes and see how it goes, knowing that you will spend some money but a lot of time learning how it does work, because giving this to a mechanic and just saying, you know what, give me all the good stuff, I want this to be the best gun ever, it's not the approach I'd like to get with it, mostly because I didn't get that approach with the MP9. I just thought, you know what, I'll work on it myself because I know it's going to break more than once. I know I'm going to have to change things all the time. So I'll just learn my way around it, try to do it by myself, spend time working on the gun, which is going to be fun as well. And that instant gratification that you get from a broken gun, an hour or so working on it and then having it shoot again, you did that. So that's an important thing. And most of the time when you see people talking about their GBBRs, when it's not Tokyo Marui, of course, and they break a lot and they have to order the parts from God knows where, usually Asia, China, and they have to work on them, they'll say, well, it cost me a lot of money, but they will never say it cost me a lot of time, because that time they spent working on these guns, it's fun for them. And if you want to be one of those, this may be the platform, but I'll wait a little bit. I'll wait at least a month until we know more about them, so I can make another video of proper first impressions, because this is 0.5 impressions instead of first impressions. So yeah, half impressions, but it does seem okay. And also I have people talking to me via, you know, Instagram, Discord, WhatsApp, all the social media stuff, telling me that they've been working on them for maybe a couple of weeks and they know what they're doing. They know their GBBRs, they know their way around GBBRs, and they told me that, you know what, this thing might be just great without spending a lot amount of money, a whole lot of money. Get mixed up a little bit. So that's a good thing. As usual, if you find this useful, if you find the video useful, just share it somewhere and keep posted for the next update that I might get. 170 euros. It is, along with some Chinese manufacturer G36C GBBR, the cheapest way you can get into a GBBR primary gun, long gun, even cheaper than some machine guns, which have a breed of their own, because they're so small and you can get so much out of them, and it's just that fun playing with something that small that can really get you where you want to. Did that sound sexual? That sounds sexual. But the longer gun, I mean, it also has its things, its own beauties. I haven't found them yet, but I do get good sensations out of it. Still, I don't feel like paying 170 euros just yet, because I haven't tried enough, and the guys that are trying have not come to definitive conclusions yet. But we'll get there, and we'll see. So that's it. Thank you very much. Y hasta luego.